Quiche Lorraine comes from the Lorraine region in northwest France. We're making the classic version with a crumbly, buttery pastry case, simple fillings, smoked bacon, cream and eggs. Now this gives a deep-filled quiche which is sturdy and perfect for taking to picnics. Now let me tell you how I made the pastry. Take a large mixing bowl, add 225 grams of plain flour and 100 grams of unsalted butter cut into cubes and a quarter teaspoon of salt. Then rub together with your fingertips until the butter has disappeared into the flour and the mixture resembles fine breadcrumbs. If you have a food processor, simply pulse the butter and flour until crumbly. Next, using a table knife, stir in 4 tablespoons of cold water until the mixture forms an even dough. If you're using a food processor, add the water and pulse until the mixture comes together into a ball. Now, without kneading, use your hands to shape the pastry into a disc, then wrap in cling film and chill for 15 minutes. So the next step is to take your chilled pastry and line the baking tin. Flour your surface and using a rolling pin, roll out the pastry to a circle large enough to line a loose-bottomed 20 by 4 centimetre fluted tart tin. Drape the pastry over the rolling pin and lower it onto the tin, leaving an overhang. Gently mould the pastry into the ridges and corners using some pastry scraps rolled into a ball to help you press the pastry into the tin. An easy way to trim the excess is to roll the rolling pin over the tin and then pinch the pastry up against the side so it stands a little above the rim, about 2 millimetres. Prick the base with a fork and chill again for at least 20 minutes. Okay, so once your pastry base is chilled, preheat your oven to gas mark 6, 200 degrees C, or if it's fan, 180 degrees C. And then line your pastry case with a piece of foil and fill with ceramic baking beans. If you don't have baking beans, you can always use uncooked rice. Place the tin on a baking tray and bake for 15 to 20 minutes until the pastry feels sandy to the touch. Take the pastry out of the oven, remove the baking beans and foil, then return to the oven for a further 10 minutes until golden. Now I'm going to make a water still before I add the liquid ingredients. I've separated an egg and now I'm going to brush the inside of the case with the egg white, keeping the yolk for the filling later. Then back in the oven for 2 more minutes until shiny. Then reduce the oven temperature to gas mark 3, 160 degrees C, or a fan oven, 140 degrees C. So now to make the filling. Over a medium heat, heat 2 teaspoons of vegetable or sunflower oil in a large frying pan and cook 200 grams of diced smoked dry cured bacon for 8 minutes or until nice and golden. Meanwhile, add 3 eggs to 300 millilitres of cream, add in your leftover yolk from earlier and then beat together. Season generously and set aside. When the bacon's cooked, scatter it over your pastry base and then adding the cream and egg mixture. So that's going to go into the oven for 35 minutes or until it's really nice and golden. Just leave to cool in the tin before serving warm or at room temperature. Turn your quiche out of the tin and serve with a simple fresh salad, and that's going to taste absolutely delicious.